So we're in the run-up area, so we're going to go over here to the hold short line. And when we go to this line, you're not allowed to go out onto the active runway until you, well, at a controlled airport, you have to get clearance to go out. But here I'm going to check out final, make sure nobody's going to come in and run into me. And I see nobody else in the pattern, and I've heard nobody else. I don't know where that guy went, but there was a guy around here. So we're ready to go. We're going to announce that we're going to depart on runway 26, and we're going to stay in the pattern, and I'm going to do a pattern work. I'm going to show you how I land this airplane, take off this airplane. Redlands traffic, Cessna 68212, departing runway 26, staying in the pattern. Redlands. Phone's ringing. Sorry, I'm not here. So trim is set for takeoff. And we go full throttle. We put our feet on the floor so we're not hitting the brakes. And we still have rudder control. The president's coming in, and he's going to land at the Air Force Base, or the old Norton, and he's going to do a little tour of San Bernardino because of what happened last couple weeks ago. Trim it for 75 knots. Right there. I'm always watching my airspeed because that's the most important instrument that I use. And add in the tack, turn coordinator when you're in the pattern. Make sure you're using the ailerons and rudders properly.
Redlands traffic, helicopter 31 Hotel Juliet, taking off from 264 left. Traffic. Redlands.
There's a lot of guys from Japan that train here, and they're hard to understand on the radio. All good guys, but they come over here to train because it's very, very expensive pretty much everywhere else in the world to fly, because Japan is a small country and there's a lot of pilots, and there's a lot of demand for the airspace, so you pay a premium, and then not everybody gets to fly when they want. They pay for their flight time in the air. Not only they pay the cost of the airplane and stuff, but they have to pay the government to use the airspace. They do that in Europe as well. We're free here still. Redlands traffic 68212, right crosswind 26. Redlands. So it's still free to fly here in this country. I don't know how long that's going to be, but because they always want to charge you for everything here. Government needs more money, more and more and more and more. We're right at 75 knots. Good. 2,000 feet, so we've only got about 500 feet above the runway now. Pattern altitude usually is between 900 and 1,000 feet above ground level, above the runway. We got about 400 feet. General rule of thumb is you want 500 feet before you make your first turn. 500 feet is the cutoff for being able to make it back to the airstrip if you lose power. They tell you to land straight ahead, but if with practice and you have at least 500 feet, you can make what they call the impossible turn. You can make that turn back to the airport, theoretically. Well, I can get that nose lowered, and we got a level flight now. I don't need to climb anymore. I'm going to slow the airplane down a little bit, reduce power.
Redlands traffic, helicopter 31 Hotel Juliet, turning left downwind for taxiway 26 Redlands.
You see, I couldn't understand a dang thing that guy said. I heard Redlands, but I'm assuming it's the guy in the helicopter. That's why it sucks being around the airport. You never know. You gotta watch where you're going. See and be seen. Redlands traffic 68212, right downwind 26. Redlands. So we're watching our airspeed. We don't want to go any slower than 75 knots because this thing can There's somebody that lives down there. There's people that live in this wash area here, this desert area. Anyhow, you don't want to go any slower than 75 knots because the airplane will lose lift and it'll stall. That's what it's meant by stalling an airplane. Keep it at 1700. So if you set up the airplane the way the pilot's operating handbook, another abbreviation would be POH. The airplane's gonna do what the manufacturer designed it to do. The pattern for Redlands is right traffic. Typically, unless it's listed in the on the sectionals in the book, all airports are left traffic pattern, but Redlands is right. The other side of the airport is for helicopter traffic. They do helicopter training here. So I'm going to reduce power a little bit here, start slowing down. So we're approaching the numbers at the end of the runway. I don't know, could you guys understand what that guy said? I sure couldn't. Okay, we're at the numbers. We pull our carb heat, we reduce our power to 1700. And we introduce 10 degrees of flaps. And so the nose wants to go up because we gave it some flap, so we have to adjust for all that. You constantly adjust. So now we start to sink into the runway. We don't dive in, we're just gradually sinking. We're losing altitude. The airplane just kind of settles in, sinks. It's called sink rate. There's airspeed and sink rate on approach. We're always watching our airspeed. We listen to the engine. We can kind of tell what's going on here. We got an idea. We got visual. Redlands traffic 68212 on base 26 Redlands. We're going to give it another 10 degrees of flaps, so we're at 20 degrees now. I'm a little high, so I'm going to reduce power here. Let the airplane sink. I always make shallow turns in the pattern because that's, especially this turn from base to final. You can lose lift and the airplane will just drop out of the sky. Alright, now we're on final. Redlands traffic 68212 on final 26. Touch and go, Redlands. I don't know if you can see the runway, but we're a little high, but we're going to come on in. That's sinking a little bit too fast. So it's a little dance here you do with power and stuff to get you over that threshold. Helicopter in sight 212. Redlands traffic 212 is on final 26, full stop, Redlands.
Thank you, great.
Hi, Nobu. That was Nobu. He's the instructor. He also owns the flight school where I trained. From Japan. He's got a huge clientele of Japanese students. Real nice guy. Good pilot. The wind and stuff at this end of the runway sometimes can be a little erratic. So, you know, you can sink all of a sudden. There'll be a weird wind shear. And, so you gotta be aware of that and be ready for that. That wasn't bad. Oh, you wanna land on your mains and then your nose gear comes down nice and gentle. So alright, so we turn here at the first turn off. I don't wanna be jamming the brakes. A lot of times I'll just go ahead and miss this turn off. There's another guy taxiing, so when I clear the runway, I'll wait for him. 212, clear the active.